Hi, Darren Hall here from tradingthehorses.com. Just a video that I wanted to make to follow up on something which we described on our Twitter feed as being one of the most important trading videos you'll ever watch, and we stand by those comments in the sense that it's a video from Peter Webb, and we've got the link underneath this one, so you can go and actually watch it. It's only a 4 or 5 minute video, but it actually details the key tactic for actually exiting a trade, or for actually getting out of a position itself, which is something which, you know, everyone's guilty of it. We're all looking at the entry points, we're all looking at a way to get into the market, but do we actually consider enough when we're actually going to get out? Are we getting out of the market sufficiently? Are we actually staying in these trades too long? Are we missing out on profits by exiting before we've actually let the actual profits run? So there's lots to sort of digest in terms of what Peter describes, but he puts it very succinctly, and even after all these years of trading, it's something which I watched, and it still sets off a bit of a light bulb moment in your head as to all things that you should really be looking to consider when you go into the trade. I mean, for example, on our Trading Horses software, the new innovation that we've got, a traffic light system, is fantastic. It's showing you exactly which horses to trade and when to actually get into the market. But again, obviously we are seeing varying results with some of our members, because we're getting the signals right in terms of actually getting into the markets, but if people aren't controlling once they're in there, and their money's on the table, so to speak, then everyone's going to have different results. People hold on to trades for too long, a winning trade can turn into a losing trade, or you cut the trade too early, so your profits are much smaller than somebody else who's actually read the market a little bit better. So there's a number of things which you sort of need to consider, but I just want to try and demonstrate it here as well in this video, and we're going to make quite a few actually, because I think it's really important, because as I say, we've got the software which is showing you when to get into the market, so the logical next stage is, you know, when you actually get out of the market. So all the time I've been talking here, you can see we've got a race here loaded up at Newmarket. We've got 4 minutes before the off, and we can see the ladder here on the top 4 runners in the field, which is sort of traditionally what we sort of look to trade, and you can see from the point of loading up, we've got a ladder which is now on the first horse. If we assume a centre line along here, we've got the first horse, or if you like, sort of initial favourite in the race, which is trading above that. The second one, which is obviously gone below that, so that's obviously gone in. A third one, which is pretty much the same, and the fourth one, which is trading inside of that as well. So immediately that gives you a sort of benchmark, or a line to actually draw in the sand and actually look at where you can actually trade. So for example, if we press the enter button here, we can recenter all of those ladders. So now we've got our baseline that we're going to actually look at. Important here as well, if we actually look at the traded amounts and the volumes that are here, then it's going to show us the upper point and the lower point of the range. So immediately we can see here, this horse is trading sort of, you know, coming up to the higher end of its trading range. This one's at the lower end of its range. Another one here which is at the top of its range, and one which is sort of sat round about in the middle, and we can see here by the indicators how much of the volumes are being traded around those particular figures. So what will happen is we would wait for a signal within our software. I've actually got it loaded up on a separate screen here, but the idea would be is that if we get a signal from the either the traffic lights or just the general Trading the Horses interface, and we enter the market, then depending on what's going on around us with the other runners and the other horses within that market, then we can dictate whether we're going to stay in that trade and how long we're going to stay in it for. Maybe that we just want to get in and do a very quick one tick scalp, in which case that dictates our exit point, because as soon as we put a bet in the market, we want to be getting out for one tick profit. Okay, so we've got an indicator come up here. You can't see it, but I can, and it's actually it's a back bet which has come up on the horse recorder. So we're looking here now, and so at the moment we've entered the market here. We've just got a £10 position where we've actually backed the horse. So what we're looking at here is this horse is obviously trading quite close to its the lower point of its range, but if we actually look around us, we can see now that there's movement in on the favourite, which should be a little bit of a warning signal to us, because really both of these two horses can't sort of come in at the same time, and we can see now straight away that the movement on the horse that we've entered is actually the trader's gone against us. So that's almost like that the actual trade that we probably looking to make there, very much with the activity on the well, it's not the favourite anymore, but the first horse, should we say, is actually coming in. We can see how much it's moved on the ladder there. So the entry point was correct in the sense that it did drop down one tick, but you can see it's moved back out again now. So really that says that really was a very sort of small scalping type movement on this second horse. I mean, it's slightly coming back to us now. We've got a reasonable chunk of money that's actually come into there, but we can see here that you know, this horse has now gone virtually joint favourites now, and this is almost going off the screen here. So by definition, we can see here the third horse here, the price is actually starting to rise. This one's not really doing anything, so by definition, if this one's steaming and it is off the screen, this one's got to rise, and obviously the you know, other ones have got to adjust themselves as well. Now we're only using £10 stakes, so our actual loss here is minor, and we're just actually exit the trade now there for a 59p loss. But you can see there that although we had a signal which was shown up within our software, because we didn't execute the right sort of exit strategy, we could have taken one, possibly 2 ticks profit from when we got into the market, but we didn't do that. The movement then came on this what is now the favourite, and instinctively that pushed our horse out. So even though we actually got the signal right, and the initial movement, we stayed in the trade far too long, and that's actually cost us money. So it's very important, and I'm going to record a number of these different ones, so hopefully we can see a few different scenarios as we go along, some good, some bad, obviously, and it will sort of build up again a way that you can actually look at the markets. And you know, there's no substitute sometimes for just going in and watching. If you loaded a market up, for example, like this, centered the ladders, you watch it for the last 5-6 minutes before the off, again, that's going to give you a very good feel as to exactly what's going on. So anyway, just first in a series of videos, but definitely watch the BetAngel video, because that is going to really hit the nail on the head, and I think it will to a lot of people will open their eyes as to what you can actually do, what you've got to think about for exiting the trades, which is, as we've proved here, far more important than actually entering the trades itself. Okay, I'll speak to you again soon. Cheers, bye bye.